Hello everyone, it's me, Coffee Stitcher. It is, well, it's Sunday is what it is. It's the next to last Sunday in May. We're in May. Oh god, I need this coffee. My internet's wanting to connect. I may have to use my tablet to look at the Q&A. WTF. I need my coffee today. This is my Ursula mug, and it says, "Please, I can only do 8 things at once." And the handle is her tentacle. A friend got this for me last year sometime. And the other day I was at the grocery store and I was walking up the coffee aisle, and because I don't normally buy coffee, at least not like bagged coffee, what I tend to do is buy the whole beans, and I've been buying them somewhere else. But as I was walking up the aisle trying to find the paper towels, because I've started using a different grocery store, I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but you're getting it anyways. Anyhow, I passed by the the instant coffees, and I saw the International Delight. I was like, oh my god, I haven't had International Delight since like 1996, and it always makes me think, for some weird reason, of Rainy Afternoons, Martha Stewart, and My Mom's Merry Inklebright decorating books, which I know is very specific memories, but that's what it makes me think of. And I was like, ooh, I want some International Delight. I can feel fancy. So I got the French vanilla, and my god, that stuff is actually still really good. All that to say, that's what I'm drinking today. Y'all, this could be this could be a day. We're just gonna leave it at that. Aw, shite. I'm getting my School of Magical Stitches info pulled up. Join. Okay. So, not a lot of, Q&A this week. Or, excuse me, not a lot of, well, I think there actually is some. No real haul, per se. Oh, I got a really cool new necklace. I'm just all over the map. I'm sorry, y'all. It's on the back of a penny from, I forget what year, and I can't read it upside down. But I found it, we have, this week was Main Street Festival in the area I work in, and so we walked it at lunch on Friday, and one of the vendors had these, and they were super cool. It was a whole booth of them, and she does glass enameling, and she has to do it on pennies from before 1982, because that's when they were copper, and now they're like a zinc hybrid hoochmadingle. And it, lost my train of thought. And the process she uses, it's glass enameling. When you put it on the zinc, it apparently just slides off of it. So, yes. Ta-da! So, anyhow, let's dive in to the Q&A. And then I do have whip updates for everyone, which I'm sure will excite everyone greatly. And then I've got plans for the next week to show you. Alright, so the first one comes from Faith Fan, that she's looking forward to seeing my Ozma version of Mrs. Ladybug, and that she's never seen one. Polychrome would make a fabulous Mirabilia. That is not someone I would ever try to come up with on my own, because I don't think I would know how to create her, but if someone did, that would be fabulous. There aren't, I think, any cross-stitch patterns out there featuring other characters from the book. There is one Return to Oz pattern out there that I've seen that's sort of like in the Clouds Factory, Wee Little Stitches sort of style. But otherwise, no, I don't think there is. There might be, like, the book covers in a pick-to-pat sort of format, but But yeah, I'm constantly amazed that everyone immediately turns to Alice in Wonderland, because there are some really fabulous Oz characters and ladies that could get really stunning designs, but everyone just wants to do Disney princesses and Alice. And I don't have the talent to come up with stuff like that. I just don't. Let's see. Patty Ernest wants to know where I got my Harry Potter pattern. If you're talking about Giant HP, that one is Cloud's Factory. If you're talking about my Hufflepuff wreath, that's Cross Stitch for You. Molly Littleford Sketched. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you for your notes about nails. I don't know if you've seen, I obviously did go and get them done. I did end up doing the gel, just a French tip, which worked pretty darn perfectly. So, and it's been doing very well. And I went to an actual nail salon versus just like a quick place in the mall. And it did hurt a little bit, but I'm not sure if it's because I'm just not used to it, or if because I've never had it done and there was a lot that needed to be done, and going forward it won't, but the pain went away after a couple of days. It was like in the cuticle area, so I don't know if that was just me or what. But thank you for the advice. Jacqueline Favero, you're very welcome. I'm glad my advice helped. Megan Bangirder, I don't know if you've seen, but I've got a couple other changes that I made this week that I will have to show off. Gentle Stitcher, yes, I can show you the photo. You'll see it a little later in the episode. I buy my kits from 1884 Stitchery. McKenna of Stitching and Sequins, that's her company. She is the U.S. wholesale distributor for Al Forest. And she gets kits in fairly often, but you, at least right now, because they're new, you really have to be ready the second they're available to buy them, because they go quick. I'm sure once things have kind of settled down, then it's only going to be the new kits that go real quick. And if you ask her, I'm sure she may be willing to place a special order for you. I don't know for sure, but I feel like she probably would, because she's pretty awesome. Cindy McGetty, I'm glad you liked that finish. That's one of the ones I'm more proud of. It was in our bedroom. We moved it to the living room, which is why I couldn't show it so easily last week. Eliza Reynoso, thank you. The Russian interpretation, if you've got Amazon Prime, you have to turn subtitles on. It's not the best subtitling. I don't think it's the one that the company put out, so I don't know who did it. So there's times where it's a little questionable, but it's good enough you can figure out what's going on. You can certainly figure out what's going on. And it covers the first 2 books in Volkov's Magic Land series. And Wizard of the Emerald City, Hugh's the closest to Bomb, and then splits in a completely different direction after that. So it's kind of like alternate universe. It's really kind of neat. But it's on Amazon. It's under the title The Wizard of Oz, and it's stop motion. One of the interesting features about the story is, in it, the Witch of the East actually is the cause of the tornado. And the caravan, because in Russia they felt like, Volkov felt that the house would be too firmly attached to the ground, so it wouldn't blow away. So Dorothy actually goes in a wagon to Oz, or the Magic Land as it's just referred to. And so Karma basically gets her. So that's kind of one of the cool little tweaks. There's some very interesting things. So if you're at all interested and you have Amazon Prime, it's there for free. And I highly recommend checking it out. Hey Kyle, go twinning. You asked, do I have any tips for going from Ada to linen? There are videos out there better than what I would be able to describe, because without it's not something I've tried doing it over video to other friends before, and I can't do it. I can do it in person, I just can't do it on video. And I don't really quite know why. But there are definitely videos out there I would highly recommend checking out. If Carolyn Mazzio did one, she is always very good. But I don't know if she did or not. I will say I don't find linen super daunting, and I think the Alforce kits come with Monaco, which is an even weave. So an even, yeah, that's what it looks like. So an even weave is significantly easier to transition to than a, than to linen. So it's a good transition area. I didn't do that. I just went straight into linen because I didn't have a choice. Because the project I wanted to do was only available in linen. And so it was either learn or don't do the project, and I was bound and determined to learn. But yes, and yes, Rabbit is totally relatable. And I love how everyone kind of agreed with me. Go Rabbit. And Ivy Kruger, that's a very good point about Rabbit as well. He is a good friend, but I think he's the introvert. He wants to be friends on his own terms, and I can understand that. Crap. I really hate that you have to click show more before it actually shows you more. But I think that actually took us to the end of all the Q&A, so I didn't really need to. All right, moving right along after a sip from coffee. All right, so I finished part 3 of Emerald City, and then I saw this fabulous Toto that I'm going to try to pull up on Instagram. We'll see how successful I am, because I'm using my tablet. Also, Dorothy Stitches, I don't know if, I'm not going to try and comment here, but I'll comment on Instagram, but your happy birthday and your birthday cake looks awesome. I don't know if you watch FlossTube or not, but happy birthday, your cake is awesome. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it was Zolgarb who had done it. So after she did that, I had to go back and do my own little Toto, kind of like hers. So, first, there's the second part of, or the rest of, Emerald City. So then down here, one of the things I did give Tatty Poo her Witch of the North staff that Dinslow illustrated in. It's a little hard to see. It's just a staff with the letter N. And then she did this super cute Toto with all sorts of backstitching. So I actually used Black Forest, and it's a pearl from the Karen collection. And I overstitched him too, so he's all fuzzy now. And he looks like a real terrier. Isn't he adorable? So that's what I did there. So there's the rest of Emerald City for now. I also went back over the Scarecrow and did some more straw, because I felt like he needed some more. So there we are. What I'm guessing, it's an 11-part stitch-along. I'm thinking that the next part is actually going to be the part here, and we're probably going to work our way around so that Emerald City is the last part. I don't know this for sure. That's just my working theory, but I could be wrong. And I'm guessing the poppy field is in the next section, because there was some red in that area of the mosaic. So I'm wondering if maybe we're going to get the Queen of the Field Mice, which would be really cool. Alright, so Magical Stitch's homework this week was to do 700 stitches on our 17th project, because you had to be 17 to enter the Hero Name of the Goblet of Fire. They also announced that partial credit would be allowed, so I ended up doing partial credit. So my 17th start was Search the Sky from Waxing Moon Designs. There's the design. So I started in the middle, like I am wont to do, and that was, Magical Stitches, one back stitch counts as a half stitch. So I ended up a little shy of 550 stitches when I finished all of the yellow. And I was at that point needing to rotate, because I'd hit a good stopping point and I was really ready to move on. So it's a little hard to see. It's much, much easier to see in person than it is on camera. I did post it to Instagram, but there's the middle part. And it says, "May you never be too grown up to search the sky on Christmas Eve." And like I said, you can see it much better in person. This is on Frosted Blueberries by Ship's Manor. And I'm using mostly the called for colors. I couldn't find my Summer Meadow from General Arts, which is the yellow in the solid yellow in the letters, and it's also in the moon. So I'm actually using Yellow Brick Road from Ship's Manor, because it was a fairly close color, it looked like. But I really enjoyed working on it, and it looks really pretty. Alright, so then the rest of the week, what did I work on? Let's see, well, I worked on... one night was working on the Emerald City extras. Here's where I'm at on Miss Ladybug. So I finished in this side, and I'm going to start in on this part, and then the red part of her skirt will be done. And this will actually come in handy for my homework this week, which I'll talk about in a second. At work, I worked on Nevermore, and I got the house finished, and then I went and did the gray parts of the house. And then I wasn't really thrilled with the color I had picked to do the light with, so I need to go back and find another color. But here's where I am. This is Nevermore by Prairie Schooler. I used Old Purple paint for the house, and then Pebble for the stonework. And this is on Chai Tea Joblin. So there's Nevermore. Let's say pull over there. Okay, we had a pop-up challenge to welcome the visiting schools. And we were supposed to do 50 stitches on something that involved the form of travel. So it had to be like a carriage or water or legs or this, that, and the other. So I worked on With Thy Needle from Lila's Studio. So I did my 50 was the green leaves on the pumpkins, and then I started the grass here. And I'm actually going to take this to work. This is going to be my work project this week, to fill in the green grass. So, and this is on Rosemerta by Under the Sea Fabrics. I really like this one. And then I started working on, I worked on Aurora from Brooks Books. So I'm working on this panel here. I'm gonna fill in this part, and then there's a little more of this pink here that I'm gonna do before I rotate again. So I'll have one sort of foldy panel done. There's that. And I may, like, try to work this, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But there's where I'm working at. Yeah, so I really like this one. It's really, really pretty. And I can't wait to see her finished. She's definitely taking longer than Tiger Lily did, though. Alright, so that brings me to this week's homework. And for this week's homework, we're meeting the challengers. So we have to do 200 stitches in each of the following colors. Brown for Victor Crumb for Durmstrang, yellow for Cedric, blue for Fleur Delacour, red for good old Harry, And then an extra 200 stitches in the color of the champion you are rooting for to win. Yes, I'm a Gryffindor, but I will be rooting for Cedric because I'm going to be able to get 400 stitches in yellow significantly easier than I will red. So obviously my red is going to be Miss Ladybug. And I'm pretty sure there's 200 stitches in this section, so I'll get my 200 there pretty easily. My blue is going to be from Atlantis by Alfor. So here you go. Here's the shot of it in full. So I'll be working on the jellyfish. I'm not sure if there will be 200 stitches in just the jellyfish. There probably will be. So I'll have to figure out once I get started. So my goal is going to be to, and here, they give you pattern sections. So here, my goal is going to be, we'll finish up the jellyfish, and since he's the dominating thing, I may actually just try to finish up the whole little section before I move on. I mean, the bright side is I've got a full week to do them in, and my Monday project can count. For the brown, I'm going to be doing Quaker Oz, and I've actually got a frog something, so I'm going to take this one to work tomorrow, probably, because I screwed up my counting on the tree here, so I'm going to have to undo that, but not a lot. It looks like more than it actually is. But between the tree and the flying monkey, I'm sure there's 200 stitches. So I'll finish out the tree and do my monkey, which sounded bad. So that'll be my 200 there. And then my 200 yellow is going to end up being a new start. This one I've been sort of going back and forth on all week long about what fabric to do it on. I apologize for everyone who had to put up with me. I've ultimately decided, originally I wanted to do it on the metallic blue Bliss, or the opal Bliss from Ship's Manor, but the color was so close to the 747 that's in it, and I just couldn't come up with a color combination I liked as well as the original color combination, which meant if I was going to do it, it couldn't be on that fabric. So instead, I'm going to do it on this one. So it's the Tiny Modernist Words to Live By. Obviously, I'm starting with part 1. So I'm sure there's 400 stitches in the yellows. So I'll have to stitch a little bit to work my way up to the yellows, but that's okay. Or to work my way down, because there's the yellow in here. Yeah, there's enough yellow. I'm sure I'll hit 200 or hit 400. I'm going to be doing it on Freya from Under the Sea Fabrics. And this is 32 count. It's gonna be a smidge close because it's 18 wide. The design itself is 16, so I'm only gonna have about an inch on either side, but that's okay. Because if I orient it this way, see that lovely shock of green right there in the middle? Well, it'll fit to be kind of like a horizon line, which I think is gonna be super cool. And all the colors look really great on this fabric. So this will be the one I do the last, because it's got the 400 stitches. So I'm not necessarily working them in the order that were assigned. Some of it's gonna basically just be, I'll start and go from there. So that's kind of it for me today. I'm gonna go work some more on good old Aurora. Yeah. So anyhow, I hope everyone has a terrific week, and I'll see you all next week.